Every single night, without fail, something extraordinary happens to you. Your eyes close, your body goes still, and your brain, instead of shutting down, opens a door into an entire world. A world with no rules, where you can fly, where the dead speak to you, where you're back in a school you haven't seen in 20 years, where a stranger's face somehow belongs to your childhood best friend. For a few hours, you don't just imagine another reality, you live inside one, completely convinced it's real, until the moment you wake up, and then, almost immediately, it's gone. You reach for it, and it dissolves in your hands like smoke. Within minutes, most of it is unrecoverable. Some of the strangest, most vivid experiences of your entire life, and you can't hold on to a single one of them. Here's what should stop you cold. You have done this every single night for your entire life. Thousands upon thousands of nights, each one containing a private, impossible universe built just for you, and most people go their whole lives without ever asking the obvious question: why? Why does the brain do this? What is actually happening in your skull every night that produces something this strange? For most of human history, we had no real answer. Just guesses, messages from the gods, windows into the future, which is trying to speak. But in the last 50 years, science has finally started pulling this apart, and it turns out there isn't one single answer. There are several, and each one reveals something different about what your mind is secretly doing while you're gone. So let's step into the dark and ask the question you fall asleep without ever asking: why do we dream? Let's start with the strangest theory, because it's the one that says dreams might not mean anything at all. In 1977, two researchers named Alan Hobson and Robert McCarley proposed something that upset a lot of people who wanted dreams to be mystical. They called it the activation synthesis theory, and here's the basic idea. During a stage of sleep called REM, rapid eye movement sleep, deep down in your brainstem, a part of your brain starts firing off electrical signals randomly. Almost like electrical noise, these signals have no story, no meaning, no message. They're just neurons sparking, but that random noise doesn't stay random for long. It travels upward into your cortex, the part of your brain responsible for thinking, interpreting, and making sense of the world. And your cortex, faced with this chaotic burst of signals, does the one thing it always does: it tries to make a story out of it. It takes the randomness and weaves it into scenes, characters, plots, emotions, something, anything that feels coherent. In this view, a dream isn't a message, it's your brain being a compulsive storyteller, handed a pile of random noise and refusing to leave it as nonsense. It has to turn it into a narrative, even if the narrative makes no sense at all. Which is exactly why dreams are so bizarre. You're not misunderstanding a deep message, you're watching your own mind desperately improvise a plot around static. That's one theory, but it's not the only one, and it doesn't explain everything. Because if dreams were pure random noise, you'd expect them to be evenly weird all over the place. But they're not. There's a pattern to what we dream about, and that pattern points to something much older and much darker. Think about the last nightmare you remember. Chances are you were being chased, or falling, or trapped, or something was hunting you across cultures, across ages, across the entire world. The most common dream themes are almost always the same: threat, danger, escape. A Finnish researcher named Antti Revonsuo looked at this pattern and proposed something called threat simulation theory. His idea is that dreaming isn't random at all, it's practice. For nearly the entire span of human evolution, our ancestors lived in a world full of real, constant danger: predators, rival tribes, environmental threats that could kill you in an instant. And Revonsuo's theory suggests that dreaming evolved as a private training simulator, a safe, low cost space where your brain could rehearse dangerous scenarios, running you through the experience of being chased or attacked over and over without any real risk, so that if the real threat ever showed up, some part of your mind had already run the simulation. There is chilling evidence for this. Researchers studying children who had lived through real trauma, actual violence, and danger found that their dreams were flooded with far more threat content than other children. It's as if the brain, having learned that the world truly is dangerous, ramps up its training program in response. Your nightmares under this theory aren't malfunctions. They're your ancient brain quietly running fire drills, preparing you for a threat it assumes might return. So dreaming might be improv theater built from random noise, or it might be a survival simulator. But there's a third theory, and this one might be the most important of all, because it's about something every one of us is drowning in. Emotion sleep researcher Matthew Walker has spent decades studying what your brain does at night, and his work points to something remarkable. During REM sleep, the exact stage where most vivid dreaming happens, your brain lights up in a very specific pattern. The emotional centers, deep structures like the amygdala, become highly active. But at the same time, one particular chemical, a stress hormone called norepinephrine, all but disappears from your brain. Think about what that combination actually means. Your brain is replaying your emotional experiences, the fight you had, the heartbreak, the humiliation, the fear. But it's doing so in a state almost completely stripped of the stress chemical that made those moments feel so sharp and painful in the first place. Walker has described this as a kind of overnight therapy. Your brain takes the difficult, emotionally loaded memories of your day and reprocesses them in a calmer chemical environment, gradually filing away the raw feeling while keeping the memory of what happened. This might be why an old heartbreak, something that once felt unbearable, eventually softens with time into something you can think about without your chest tightening. Some researchers believe dreaming is a critical part of that softening. Every night, your brain may be quietly performing surgery on your own pain, taking the sharpest edges off one dream at a time. And there's a bonus to this same nightly process because while your brain is sorting through old memories, it isn't just filing them neatly away. It's also doing something closer to creativity. Studies suggest that during sleep, the brain hunts for unexpected connections between old and new information, linking ideas that your conscious, logical mind would never have put together. It's part of why people so often wake up with a solution to a problem they were stuck on the night before. Your sleeping brain isn't idle, it's quietly experimenting, blending memory and imagination together, hunting for patterns while your guard is down. So now we have three real possibilities: random noise turned into story, an ancient danger simulator, an emotional processing plant. And here's the honest truth: the one careful scientist will actually tell you dreaming probably isn't doing just one of these things. It might be doing all three at once, different systems in your brain working through different jobs, all while you sleep. But there's one more mystery left, and it might be the cruelest one of all. If dreams are this important, why can you barely remember any of them? You wake up, and for a few seconds, the dream feels intact, vivid, entirely real. And then, as if someone pulled a plug, it starts draining away. By the time you've brushed your teeth, most of it is gone. Why would something your brain apparently works so hard to build be almost immediately deleted? The answer lies in chemistry. Once again, two brain chemicals, norepinephrine and serotonin, are essential for stamping a new experience into long term memory. They're part of what allows your brain to say, this is worth keeping, and lock it in. But during REM sleep, the exact stage when your most vivid dreams occur, both of those chemicals drop to their lowest levels of the entire day. In other words, at the precise moment your brain is generating some of the richest, strangest experiences of your life, it has also switched off the very system it would normally use to remember them. You're not forgetting your dreams because they don't matter. You're forgetting them because the part of your brain responsible for hitting record has been intentionally powered down. The experience happens in full. The recording device is simply turned off, which means every single night you may be living through entire private worlds, elaborate, emotional, sometimes even helpful, that are built, played out in full, and then erased before you ever get the chance to remember them happened at all. Now put all of it together, and something remarkable comes into focus. Dreaming isn't one strange glitch in an otherwise sensible brain, it's an entire hidden department running every single night. Behind a locked door, your waking mind almost never gets to open, weaving random signals into stories, rehearsing danger so you're ready for it, softening your sharpest pains into something survivable, hunting for connections your logical mind would never make, and then deliberately erasing almost all the evidence before morning. You have lived thousands of lives inside your own skull, flown through impossible skies, faced monsters that were never real, so some ancient part of you could feel prepared, replayed your worst days in a gentler light until they hurt a little less, and nearly all of it you will never remember. Which means the true scale of your own inner world is far larger than the part of it you actually get to see. You're not the whole story of your mind, you're just the part that happens to be awake. So the next time you wake up with a single fading fragment of a dream, a face, a feeling, a place that doesn't exist, don't brush it off as nonsense. That fragment is a torn corner of a much larger event. Something in you built it, lived it, and used it, possibly to heal something, possibly to prepare you for something, before quietly closing the door and hiding the key. You are more than what you remember. Every night proves it. Because everything has a why. Even the worlds you build, live inside, and then completely forget over and over for your entire life. And now, even without remembering them, you finally know theirs. Before you go, one small thing. Videos like this take a lot of digging. Real studies, real scientists, real research, not just guesses, and I bring it all together so you don't have to. So, if this made your own mind feel a little more mysterious and a little more incredible, the like button and the subscribe button are right there. It costs you nothing, and it helps this channel more than you know. And this whole channel runs on one question: why? So tell me in the comments, what's the next why you want answered? Why do we get deja vu? Why can't you remember being a baby? Why does music give you chills? Whatever it is, drop it below. The best one might just become the next video because everything has a why. And I'll see you in the next one.